Hey guys, and welcome to Tribe by Megalobass Fishing. Tribe is a video podcast where we talk to fishermen around the U.S. about their most recent fishing adventures. We love sharing fishing content and welcoming people into the Megalobass Fishing Tribe. Today we'd like to welcome Clayton Andrews to the podcast. Clayton is a former MLB player for the Toronto Blue Jays. His YouTube channel and Instagram channels are Freshwater Fatties. He's also a brand ambassador for Cast King USA, and a lot of his fishing content is out of Florida. Please welcome Clayton Andrews. All right, Clayton, how's it going, sir?
Good. How y'all doing?
Yeah, we're
Think
doing great.
you could hear me. Good, good, good. Okay.
So
Um,
you
good.
you're a former MLB player. What's your background so people know?
So background baseball wise, fishing wise, a little bit of all of it. I
Yeah,
mean,
just where you from and what's your journey been like till now?
gotcha. So yeah, man. So I grew up in Florida. That's where I'm at now. I'm in the Tampa Bay area. Born and raised here. Didn't grow up in Tampa, so to speak. More towards like the beach area, but it's all kind of the same. Yeah, I just grew up. I was always into sports, baseball, played a little bit of football, and baseball just kind of evolved and turned into to be the sport that I ended up being really good at and excelled at. So that's the path that I did with baseball. As far as fishing, man, I'm like all other kids, go out and go fishing with your dad, and your family. And I wasn't really too serious about fishing until really a few years ago. But I've kind of always fished my entire life. So,
That's awesome. So, for young men listening to this podcast, trying to have a future in the MLB, what was your path to get into the MLB? Like, what is something for them to look forward to?
well, geez, yeah, I was a pitcher, a lefty, so I think I kind of had a little bit of an advantage for those of you who know baseball. And there's not many lefties in the game, so just being a lefty, I had a little bit more of an advantage. So my track might have been a little bit easier than those right-handed pitchers. But no, I just, like I said, I played since I was 5 years old, and I was always, pretty good. And it wasn't until probably my junior year of high school that I really started to get a lot of attention from Major League Scouts. They'd
Mm.
start trickling to my games, and then I was getting all these letters from colleges. And I first signed a scholarship to go play at the University of Florida. That was the first big thing that happened for me. And that was the end of my junior year. And then once my senior year rolled around, I mean, things basically blew up. I knew that I was going to get drafted. I didn't really know exactly where I was going to get drafted, but I knew that I had probably a future playing baseball, and that's what I decided to do. I was drafted in the third round from the Blue Jays. I think I was the 76th pick overall.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I went really high, and to be honest with you, I didn't really want to go the college route. I wasn't a terrible student, but I wasn't like a great student. I was play baseball and start making some money playing baseball. So that's what I did. But I just, like I said, it was just always something that came natural to me. I didn't really work probably as hard as I could have worked because, again, I was just always good at it. But that's probably the biggest piece of advice I would give young athletes today who might be in high school or college or whatever is just, go the extra step, work a little bit harder than the guy next to you because, it's a lot of fun to get paid some money to play a kid's game, get to wear a uniform every day. Just work hard, man, and good things will happen.
Yeah, so when you are being visited by scouts, what is like something the scouts are looking for? Are they looking at clocking your mile per hour? Are they looking for something unique?
Yeah, so at least from the pitching side of it, that's one thing they look at is velocity. Now, shoot, I graduated in '96, so that's 20 plus years ago, man. I'm really aging myself here, but you know, back then, when guys were pitching, my fastball was like 88 to 92 miles an hour, which that was relatively hard for, that day and age, if you will. But 88 to 92 miles an hour today is probably pretty average.
Mm.
Guys are throwing a lot harder now. For whatever reason, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're throwing harder. But yeah, so they come out, they're looking for velocity, they're looking for control, are you throwing balls off the top of the backstop? Are you throwing strikes? That's obviously important. And then,
Right.
projectability, guys, size. I mean, I'm undersized for a baseball player. I'm under 6 feet. I think I'm maybe 5'11". So
And
I'm on the
that gives some hope to some people, though, huh?
yeah. So exactly, that's a good point. So, and I think that that's kind of trending more in today's game in all sports. Is that it doesn't matter if you're small or big, and we see it especially in football, right? All these small quarterbacks, guys aren't supposed to perform as well as they do as a smaller athlete, and they're just proving these guys wrong every single year. And that was the case for me. I was undersized, but I still managed to get to the big league. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So, do you think social media is changing the way scouts are looking at people?
Absolutely. 100%. I know one of the things that, people my age or whatever, that we didn't have social media back in the day. Well, I say it was a good thing, right? We didn't have social media because, who knows what would have happened. But yeah, that's one thing that these athletes have to pay attention to is what they're putting on social media, because, these major league scouts, these owners, these general managers, all these higher ups, I mean, they'll just go to your social media page and start flipping through it. And if you got content on there that, represents you, and you don't really want it to represent you, that can absolutely hurt somebody's chances of, getting picked to go play a sport or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. I was always thinking too, like maybe that's a way to advertise yourself, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of like a money game, right? I mean, people want fans in the crowds, and they want viewers. I mean, if your social media is one that is showing a really positive light on your career, and you're having a bunch of followers and stuff like that as well, I mean, I think a scout may consider that as
and it's
something
good.
more interesting.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned that point. Absolutely, and I see that too with some baseball players that I follow. That they're in high school or whatever, and we've connected through social media somehow.
Oh,
but
that's cool.
That's exactly what they do. So they'll put like their highlights on social media of them hitting, of them pitching, of them running, and that's a great tool. That's one way that they can go on there and see the good things that these kids are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, getting into more recent events, you've been fishing a lot, and how's that transition from the MLBs and sort of the focus and the work ethic that you put into baseball? How's the transition been now into fishing? Because I feel like this is like a hobby that you're pretty consistent about, and maybe it's more than a hobby now. Maybe it's something that you're looking to do professionally. I don't know. What's your plans on this?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, I guess it's that competitiveness that's still in me, right? So I'll be 40 here, and I haven't lost the competitive drive. If anything, it's probably more now because I don't have baseball, right? To where I could actually compete at a really high level. So with fishing, though, I take it in the same regards as I'm literally competing, right? I don't want to go out and miss hook sets. I don't want to do those sort of things. So that's why, I challenge myself, and I get a lot of joy and satisfaction out of actually fishing, and just competing, I guess, if you will. I think popped up. Yeah, it's the competition of fishing that I really love. As far as what I would like to do with it, it would be great to, I guess, compete at a professional level or go fish tournaments or do those sorts of things. And I got kids, I got small kids right now, and the time constraint, and the free time, I guess. If you,
yeah, you get fishing in when you can, I bet.
Fish when I can. Yeah, that's right.
It. That's where I'm at too, man. So
sure.
Let's get started on the video. We'll just play your video and we'll talk about it. I'll pause here and there. I'll make sure I turn the sound on your side. Sometimes I'll forget to do that, but all in all, let's just go through your most recent video. This is on Freshwater Fatties on YouTube. Let me minimize us a little bit. Let's see. There we go. Right. The mouth. There he is. There we go. There we go. Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go. What is happening, Fish Fam, YouTube watchers? Thank you so much. These months, a year, stopping by to check this. I believe at 1 minute you start fishing here. Numero. Got the Cast King Valiant. So where are we at here?
So this is in Wesley Chapel. And a buddy of mine who actually I met through Instagram, he lives right in this neighborhood. So geez, man, there's probably, I don't know, 10 different ponds that we can go bounce around at. So that's where this is. That's why you still, it's all undeveloped. Well, not totally undeveloped, but they're still building houses there. So we actually call this spot Ant Pond. We like to name our ponds, right? So we know where to meet. It's called Ant Pond because prior to this video, when I fished it this time, like where you're looking at there, that was literally like probably knee-high grass, all overgrown. So anyways, it got the name Ant Pond because, there's giant ant piles all along that. And dude, we'd be standing there and think we're looked down and just covered in fire ants. So that got the name Ant Pond. Yeah.
That's awesome. So this is Florida, I'm assuming, right? Because you're fishing out of Florida.
Yeah.
So how's fishing in Florida? Do you have to like worry about wildlife? I mean, I'm from California, so when I think of Florida, I'm thinking gators, right? And
absolutely.
So, like I've seen videos where like chihuahuas are getting taken into the water, while they're like fishing the pond or something like that, or someone's reeling in a bass and that gator is like right behind that bass.
Yeah. Oh, they're there, and even in this pond here, they're all over that thing. I mean,
are you serious? In that pond too? Oh my gosh.
Oh, everywhere. Let's just put it this way, dude. Basically, every body of water, in Florida, there's a 99% chance that there's a gator in it.
Shoot, dude. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And that's one thing that's sketchy about this place. So when I showed up here this day, I was like, holy smokes, this is awesome because all of that was all mowed down. I'm like, okay, I'm not nervous. I can walk this whole bit.
Right.
Look at that. I mean, your head's on a swivel because, oh no, gators they're in there. Oh yeah.
All right, that's cool. And so I see you're fishing a Cast King.
Yep, man. I rock all that Cast King stuff. I love it. I've been using them for about 2 years now, and affordable innovation, man. That's what
cool, man. Yeah.
Super inexpensive, and they work. They're quality. So yeah, this is the Valiant Eagle.
Awesome. So let's play a little bit more of the video. I have some timestamps too that I timestamp all your fish, but I have some questions here and there too. I'll pause it. Let me unmute it.
An Eagle. It's been a while since I've thrown this. This is my soft plastic setup, typically. A super fast gear ratio. I got some doo-doo up in there, but yeah, 8.1 to 1 gear ratio.
So what's important about the gear ratio?
So the faster the better when you're fishing soft plastics. That's something that I've come to learn, which a year and a half ago, I wasn't too educated on gear ratios. So that's something that I've come to learn, is that the faster gear ratios really help when you're fishing with these soft plastics, because that thing will hit the bottom, or as it's coming down, that fish will eat it and they're kind of running off with it, and you may or may not know it. So it's really good to have a faster gear ratio to catch up and get all that line in before you get ready to set the hook. So 8.1 to 1, that's really fast in terms of gear ratios.
Awesome. Let's keep playing.
Really fast. So hopefully I can pull one out of here. But cast number 1. Let's go catch a 3+ pounder. That
here.
is that's the color change. Where are you at? I'm gonna go with this.
Okay, so you're saying color change here. Do you have a specific time or place when you throw certain colors?
Well, generally speaking, in Florida and like in ponds and most of the bodies of water that I'm around, like a green pumpkin with the watermelon red flakes, and then like black and blues and June bug colors seem to work the best. This particular body of water here, I guess it just depends on if it's raining, if it's windy, like here. So I started with the watermelon red, or it was a green pumpkin worm at first, because the water clarity tended to be a little bit more clear. Okay. So go more natural look, was the thought process. But when I showed up there, the wind was ripping. So,
all right.
That wind is kicking everything up. So, it kind of had the water turned up and made it a little bit darker. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go ahead and switch over here to this gambler bait, which this was the very first time that I ever even threw this particular bait here from or any gambler bait for that matter. So yeah, that's why I switched in this particular case.
Okay, so the water's churning up. You threw something darker. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, darker. So I figured, a little over the water's a little bit darker, a little bit murkier. So throw something that might, project a little bit better silhouette or something in the water.
Oh, that's cool. That's great.
Yeah.
So let's see. We'll keep playing.
Gambler, back at you, the 6-inch fat ace. Try that. This thing is infused with a bunch of salt, and it's very garlicky, a strong garlic smell to it. So it's already scented for you, which is nice. Don't have to add anything, but let's try that. Chili.
Yeah, I was like in the.
What was that?
Oh no, I was just saying it was like in the 40s that day. We had a front push through and it was cold.
Yeah. So when you're fishing with a worm, do you have a specific technique? What is this, like Texas rig, right?
Yeah, that's really all I ever fish. Texas, cool. or sometimes like I'll fish it wacky style. But yeah, right here this is Texas rig with like probably with the wind blowing. It was probably a 1/4 ounce tungsten weight.
And you're just bouncing it on the bottom, reeling it in slow.
And this spot here, there's a bunch of like submerged trees. Like I basically where I cast over all the submerged trees and just kind of bring it back, and tend to have a lot of luck. They're probably just kind of stacked right there where all of the submerged trees are.
You see me looking over a lot. I have the big screen on the side here. I'm like looking at the video while it's playing. So if it looks like I'm looking off into the distance, I'm like looking at what you're talking about. I'm like, oh yeah, I see all those trees.
Yeah. So yeah, just bounce it nice and slow along the bottom.
Oh, that's cool. Whoops.
Yeah.
My camera fell. Hold on one sec.
Mm-hmm.
Technical glitches here. All right, we're good. All right, so you're just bouncing it. Let's keep playing.
Just bounce.
There he is. There we go. There we go. Oh, nice. Not a giant. Ooh, boom.
All right, so I also notice when you're setting that hook, you're lowering your rod tip and then you're setting. Is that a technique you like to use?
Yep, just getting all that slack up, right? So you keep that rod tip up, and then that way you can feel the bump, come through the rod, and then once that bump happens and you reel down and pick up all that slack, try to find the fish if you can see it, see where your line's going, just pick up that extra slack. And then that way when you set the hook, you can really drive it in.
Oh, so that's probably nice that you have that gear ratio too. You reel in that slack pretty quick and then you're able to set that hook.
Yep.
Good.
Right.
This is all good stuff. All right, keep playing.
That's a nice fish. I don't know if that's going to get us 3 pounds, but dang. That's a plumpy one. Here we go. Fish number 1.
Ooh, that's a juicy.
It was a good one.
Gambler. The gambler bait coming through. Back at you. Bam. Nice one. I'll take it. He's he's not very long, but he's fat. He's easily 1.5 pounds.
So it looks like you were trying to go after a 3-pounder this day?
Yeah, so I forget how I came up with that or what my mindset was. I don't know if it was because my buddy Josh, who's the one that lives there, had caught 3-pounder in there or something.
Okay.
Something, but I was kind of set out on I want to catch at least a 3-pounder. That was like the big goal for me for the day. So 3-pounder.
All right, let's get over to your second fish. I believe it's around 4 minutes. I'll fast forward a bit.
Let's go.
Hello.
What a shot.
Freaking.
How are you getting those shots? It looks like you got multiple views there.
And I just take my iPhone and I set it down in the background. Like I just prop it up against like my backpack or something.
Yeah.
Let it roll. Yeah.
That's a good technique for YouTubers out there trying to fish and be on YouTube. Set up multiple angles, man. That was such a good shot. And then you're able to slow that down. Action shots.
Yeah, I like, that's part of the reason why, I want the two different shots, man, is that, it's one thing to look at it like this in first person or whatever you call
Yeah.
it from, see the actual body movement on the hook set and you see the fish jumping. It's just, I don't know, maybe keeps the people watching a little bit more entertained.
Yeah, and just the feeling of getting that bass, how does that equal out to like striking someone out? I mean, it's
Uh,
right there, right?
yeah, I guess I'm not getting paid for it yet, but
Yeah, not yet, right?
I was getting paid for strikeouts. I'm not getting paid for hook sets yet, but
Yeah.
no, it feels good. And again, it's just like it's an accomplishment, right? That's what I'm going there for. I'm going there to catch some fish, and in that moment, it's like, okay, nice, I did everything right. So it's rewarding.
Do you like keeping the fish low? I notice sometimes when you see someone fishing off of a bass boat, they're like putting their rod tip super low so the bass doesn't jump.
Right.
Is that something you worry about on the bank or not really?
It just depends. I mean, I think a lot of it depends on the size of the fish, right? So when you
Sure,
first,
yeah.
you got a giant on there, that's the last thing you want to see is him come jumping out of the water and, throw your hook. So you might, bury your rod tip then. But I mean, if it's the other side of it, like, not to say that I don't want to catch the smaller fish, but maybe there it's like, okay, I got another camera angle set up. Maybe this fish will do something like jump or,
That's
something
cool.
more to it.
And
So.
that gear ratio has something to do with it too, right? I mean, I've heard somebody saying before that they reel in their fish so fast and they put it in the live well and you hear it jumping around in the live well and that thing just fighting in the live well because it didn't have time to fight while they were reeling it in, right? They reeled it in so damn fast that it never had a chance to even fight. So in the live well, it's just going nuts.
For the fun too, right? Is it, having some sort of a fight,
Right.
I guess,
Yeah, I would say so.
you want to get that fish in the live well really fast and keep moving. But yeah, part of the fun is, man, is feeling that pull and that tug and the little tug of war. So.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep playing here.
All right.
Active fish. Here, now that one's better. That one's better. I don't think it's 3 pounds, but it is bigger than the last one. There we go. Freaking stocky, chunky
Getting
fish.
a little bigger.
Yeah, that one.
Doing it. Let me get in the camera here. That's the Valiant Eagle, everybody, by Cat.
So I saw there that you have a bullet weight, but you also have a little peg on that bullet weight. Do you have do you have a reason why you're pegging down the bullet weight versus no peg?
Because somebody told me to do it.
Yeah.
It's crazy because you'll hear or see one guy that says don't peg, then you'll hear another guy say to peg. So I just like to try a little bit of everything. I honestly think that you catch fish whether it's pegged or it's not pegged, and I'm sure certain situations and structures and things that you're kind of fishing around probably would call for one application maybe a little bit more than the other. But I'm on a pegged kick right now, so everything that I'm throwing is it has been pegged, and I'm still catching fish. So it's like, okay, why am I going to change now, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think like what did I hear? I heard once that if you have a pegged bullet weight, that when you go to set that hook, that bullet weight will hit the front of the bass's mouth, and you'll lose your hook set. Now, I mean, they also say like don't peg it because like when you're going over structure.
Right.
Actually, they say do peg it. They say the argument for pegging is that it doesn't get wrapped around like structure, or like so you'll be bouncing over logs or lay down anything like that, and your weight tends to go first and fall while your worm's still behind, and you may get twisted up in there. So they peg that down so that you have a little more control bouncing over these logs and lay down. But either way, I mean, you're setting these hooks. Did you lose any fish that day?
Probably. I'm good for a few. I'm good for a few. Actually, I think in the beginning of this video, I lost one. It was like one of my first casts. I cast that. I go to set the hook and I missed it. So yeah, I guess that theory could hold true where that, they feel that bullet, the weight or whatever, the peg, and it's interfering with the hook set. I'm sure that could be a valid point. So, but again, it's like, you get comfortable doing something, and it's just hard to change or to go back. But who knows, man? I'll probably be watching a YouTube video in a week or so, and I'll see somebody else not peg, and I'll go to not pegging.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're catching fish, you're catching fish. That's my theory, you know?
Yeah.
And you're catching plenty here, so I think it's fine.
Sure.
I think it's totally fine.
Bass King, smooth as butter. Look at this old porker. Look at that belly. I don't know, man. There it is.
All right, we're going to jump ahead.
The Fat Ace, the 6-inch Fat Ace Gambler. Boom. Little peg. I'm going to slide that back down into place.
You're talking about your peg there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I fished this yet.
Let's see.
I don't know if I threw out. I don't think I threw out right here yet.
So do you have a specific game plan when you're fishing a new body of water?
Oh man, a new body of water.
Like
yeah.
say this pond in particular. Did you go out there with like an idea like, okay, I'm going to fish around grass first, or I'm going to fan cast. I'm just going to, right to left or something like that. I'm going to fish down the bank, or are you just mixing it all up?
Yeah, and again, I was familiar with this body of water, but I would probably approach a pond or something like this similar anyways, which is, the first part of the pond that I roll up to is, you got the wind pushing in your face. So you're thinking, okay, the wind's blowing all the bait fish up here. So that's probably a year that those fish might be stacked up here, with bait fish getting blown into their, right into the strike zone or whatever you want to call it. But, so I would tend to probably start there first, and that's what I did. And then, I start shooting down the bank, because especially this time of year, whether they're going to start bedding or whatever, or getting a little bit more shallow. I just like to work the edges, typically work the edges first, and then I'll still throw out into the middle, and it depends on the bait that I'm using. But, especially these soft plastics, tend to keep them a little bit more in the shallow areas.
Okay.
Now here, so I walked down that bank that you initially saw in the beginning of the video. And now I'm starting to go back, and I actually think I said, I'm like, man, I don't think I hit this spot yet. And it looked really juicy. Here's all this cover and stuff, this thick algae or, growth or whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, man, that would be a great spot for a fish. So that's why I pitch into this area here.
Awesome. Let's keep watching.
Oh my gosh. Right at the slop. Oh, get out of there. Not a giant, but that was pretty cool. Right at the slop. Look at all that. How about a salad? Dang. There we go. He was just chilling right at the edge of that. There he is. Freaking 5 pounds worth of salad.
There's your 3
And a
pounds. Just
fish.
put the grass in the mouth and then
it.
weigh it.
Yeah.
You never know what's lurking around these corners. Gators.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. What was the biggest fish you caught that day? Is it coming up?
I think it's if I remember right, I think it's the last fish. Yeah.
Okay, we'll fast forward a little bit. I think you catch another one at. I think you switch up. I think you switch up your tackle around 7 minutes here.
Yeah. When I go to the jerk, I believe it's the jerk bait that I get. Yeah, right up here, coming up on. It's on this pond here.
Yeah.
This pond is called Broken Rod. If you're interested in the name of this one.
Oh, you switched ponds here?
What? Yeah. So this is a totally different body of water. Still the same
cool.
area.
Yeah.
But now I had to hop in the truck and come down here to this pond. Yeah. So this is different.
So what made you switch up and go to a spinning rod and a jerkbait here?
Yeah, so basically just knowing this pond and what, kind of, even though they eat soft plastics here, I don't know if I had already thrown the soft plastic or not, but this particular jerkbait had been getting eaten for me. I live on a lake, so I use that jerkbait in my lake, and it was working really well. So I'm like, you know what, man, let me go and throw it and try it here. And that's kind of like the forage. There's a lot of little minnows in this pond, so I figured it would.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how is the weather in Florida right now? Where you're fishing?
Oh, in the video or like right now?
Like right now. I know it's like a month ago, right? The video's like a month ago.
Yeah, that was about a month ago. Right now it's hot. Dude, it's supposed to be like 85 degrees this weekend. I think today was like 75, maybe 80, which isn't bad, but it's warm, and this weekend's going to be hot.
So is it warm year round there? Is that what Florida's all about?
I mean, we still get a winter,
Okay.
it's not like a definite, like, winter starts here and it goes here. I mean, last week, or the week before, it was probably in the 30s, like, in the morning, with daytime highs in the 50s, and it'll do that for like a week. And then all of a sudden it'll be lows are in the 60s and highs are in the 80s. Like, it just fluctuates, man. There is no like guarantee on what kind of winter you're going to have in Florida.
So do the bass there have like a spawning season and all that, like they do in other areas that are like snowed
Yeah.
in and stuff? Yeah, same thing, huh?
Yeah, same thing. It might happen at a little bit different time based off of the temperature and the water temperatures as opposed to the other parts of the country. But yeah, they go through all that.
And you're in Florida, so you have the option to fish other fish. You have the option, like, I'm sure there's like peacock bass out there and stuff, right?
There's peacocks in South Florida. So
Okay.
we don't have any peas here where I'm at. I'd love to catch peacock. But anyways, no. So, so it's just mainly largemouth bass where I'm at. Of
Awesome.
course, difference, like, of course I could go brim fishing or speck fishing or any of that. Target those. I just mainly shoot for the big girls and largies.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to get a peacock bass one day too. So
Yeah, those things
hopefully. Let's see. I hear they fight pretty good. That's why.
yeah.
All right, keep playing.
This is the Rapala Husky Jerk glass minnow. I mean, it's small. Shoot, that thing is, 3 inches maybe, 2.5 inches, 3 inches the most. So it is definitely not a deep diver. Shallow water, and this is this is the Lew's Mach 1 combo. I've had this thing. This is actually.
I recently got a Mach 2. I love that thing, man. Those Machs are nice.
The spinning reel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first combo that I ever bought. I got it at Dick's like 2 years ago, and this was pre-cast king everything for me. But $90 I paid for that, and it's awesome. I love it. I still use it all the time. But you asked earlier about why did I switch to a spinning reel? So that jerk bait is so light. I don't think I could throw it on a bait caster. So that's why I switched over to the spinning combo.
I see. Okay. How often
Yeah.
are you using the spinning versus the bait caster? Is it just hit and miss, whatever you tie on?
It's hit or miss, but I would primarily say I'm more so on bait casters. But I'll still throw, just depending on the situation, I still bust out the spinning reel. I love to fish Ned rig setups.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I love Ned rigs. So I'll fish those on spinning reels. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll keep playing here.
All right.
Actually the very first combo that I ever purchased, you guys, and it's good. I love it. I know I throw mainly all cast. I like it. All right.
I don't hear the volume on the. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
There we go. Oh, I think it's a good one. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. On the jerk bait, come here. Oh, barely hooked. Boom. Yes. Heck yeah.
Yeah, that one's a dunk. That one's, I think, the biggest
On
one.
the jerk bait. Oh, man. Short, but fat. Look at the belly. Here we go. On the.
What's your personal best out there in Florida?
Just under 10 pounds, 9:13. Probably a year and a half ago.
Nice.
Yep.
Did it put up a fight? I've caught like a 4.5 pounder, and that thing didn't fight as much as like a 3 pounder would.
Yeah, you know what? This one, it put up a fight. Yeah, it just, I don't know how you explain it other than just like heavy. Like
Heavy,
it just,
right?
I mean, I would have swore it was like 20 pounds. Just the way you're pulling that size fish through the water. It's like, I mean, holy smokes. Like, You mean to tell me that thing's not 10, 12 pounds? I mean, it's a giant. So, but no, as far as like the all-out feisty fight and that sort of thing, probably not too much. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
and I was fishing like a long distance. I mean, I was just flipping, you know, like just some hydrilla or whatever, not too far off the boat. So it didn't really get too far away from me anyways.
That's cool. Yeah, maybe because I caught a gill or something. Who knows? But I felt like I was just dragging in dead weight. I'm like, come on, man. I want like a really solid fight here. But I probably caught a gill, unfortunately.
Yeah, happens.
Let's keep playing.
Jerk bait. Bam.
When you're fishing, that
Faithful.
jerk bait, are you doing like just a lot of little strokes?
Yeah. So just like the twitches, like twitch, wait, you know, just pause for a couple seconds, which is hard to do, you know, like if you're kind of an impatient fisherman, you know, you want to just go. But that's one of the keys of, you know, the jerk bait is just to let that thing sit there for a minute, you know, let that lethargic.
Because they're designed to like suspend in the water at certain depths, from what I understand. I mean,
this one's small, so it doesn't dive real deep. It probably only dives like 1 to 4 feet or 2 to 4 feet or something. Not deep at all. But yeah, it's just like a twitch pause and just wait.
Cool. Are you doing a lot of topwater right now?
Not yet. Not a lot of it. Probably a week or two ago, we went out and I flipped the topwater around and it actually got bit, but it's still maybe a little early for that. Not to say that you couldn't go out and fish it, but it's coming. It's coming real soon. I'm excited for that because I love to fish topwater.
Dude, me too. That's like the best bite.
Yep.
Little jerk bait. Bam. Nice. Got him. Heck yeah.
Awesome, Clayton. Thank you so much, man. That was a great video. So anybody looking to see more of Clayton's catch, he has Instagram where he's posting a lot of things. How often?
Oh, man. As much as typically Tuesdays are the best time for me or the best days for me to fish because both of my kids are in school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I can really get out and concentrate on fishing. But, you know, it just depends on how many fish I catch in those 2 days, or if I go on the weekend, you know, how many fish I catch. But I try to post, you know, at least once a day if I can. If not, you know, I'm still just trying to stay relevant, if you will, with my content as much as I can. So
that's great. So it's Freshwater Fatties on Instagram and Freshwater Fatties on YouTube when you get to posting on YouTube. So thank you so much again for the interview, Clayton. It's been my pleasure. And I hope anybody looking to be an MLB player one day is inspired by you, especially those under 6 feet like myself.
Don't let the small size get you down. Let that, right, guys, for you smaller than average athletes out there. And hey, thanks to you too, man. You know, I've been following you on Instagram, you know, and you're always really good about posting my stuff and sharing me, you know, on your stories and that sort of thing, dude. So that's awesome. I really appreciate you doing that.
No, I love your content. It's always really quality stuff too. Everything's really nice and clear, and you got some tanks that you post. So again, my pleasure. It's gonna be forever. Welcome to the tribe. And all right. I'm glad we have this tribe thing going now. Hopefully this thing starts to grow a little bit more too. And you get your name out there, get our name out there, and we just continue to grow.
You got it, man. I'll help you out any way I can. I appreciate this. Thank you.
All right, brother. Keep reeling. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you.